started?
Well, we're going to go back to the 70s.
I remember those.
At the time, before integration, the blacks had a lot of activities because we had activities in the school. And we had at then it was a PTA.
Right.
And the PTA had activities for the children in the community. But when schools were integrated, it wiped out the PTA and the activities that the kids were used to. So a group of teachers, my husband and I started it, along with Mr. J.D. Murray, got together and said, we need to do something for the children. They're missing the culture activities that they used to have. So we met with citizens from Broxton, Bridgetown, Nichols, Douglas, and Pearson, I believe. Well, it wasn't Pearson because that would not have been Coffee County.
Right.
And we came up with the name Coffee County Citizens United for Progress. And our major goal was to provide culture activities for our children because they were not getting it. And they were missing out. And this is how we started. One of the activities we started was a worship service for them. We do every year with the parents and graduating seniors. And we do this cotillion. It started out in 87. To show how we've progressed, this is what our first book looked like. And these were later booklets. So we come
a long way, honey.
Way. And matter of fact, the first cotillion we had was in the old Caldwell High Gym. We had, I think, 18 or 20 girls that were presented, and it is an activity where they have to be recommended. They have to be passing in their schoolwork. They have to have pleasing personality, good character. They have to have a recommendation from their school, their church, and their community.
That's great.
And we have activities to teach these girls good manners, good moral values, and how to sit in a chair, how to eat properly, how to use your fork and your knife. They don't do that anymore.
No, they don't.
How to use a cup, and we had an etiquette session here a couple of years ago, and you hold a cup and you point that finger. And they have no idea. We started out with about 18, I think it's about 18 girls. And it was in 2009, we said, now we're working with these girls and we're having activities and we have the ball and they wear these long gowns and they're presented and they waltz with their dads.
Right.
And what we're going to do with the young men. So the young men in our club said, we will come up with an activity. We got to do something with them. Why don't we present the boys as we do the girls?
Right.
So we call this a young men of distinction. Same requirements. They have to be in high school, pleasing personality. They can't have any children, so they have to be single. They can be in high school or college, and we have presented college students. And they have to participate in the activities that we have planned for them. And the difference in the presentation of the boys now, the parents have to present them. They have to come dressed up and they present them, and you have the dads waltzing with the girls.
Yes.
The boys are presented in long tail dark tuxedos.
Ooh.
They use white gloves, they use a walking cane.
Oh, I love it.
One year, one of the rental places here let them use the top black
Hats.
And it was very, very, matter of fact, we have this all video. But now this year we present the girls and the boys together. They're so involved in other activities that
It's hard to do too.
But this year we will be presenting. When the article came out the other day, we had 10 girls, but I found out we have 9 girls.
Okay.
And we have 4, maybe 5 boys that we are going to present in the same program. Another good thing about this, we also present the little ones, try to motivate them as they grow up.
As they go. That this is what you can do later.
And they still have to have the same requirements. And they wear the long gowns. The boys wear dark suits.
Yes.
So we let them bring in the boutonnieres and the little flag pins
Right.
and the necklace for the girls. They give it to the parents, and the parents put it on them. So it's a very formal. This year we are making it formal for everybody who attends.
Ooh.
You gotta have on a long dress or something long
Yes.
formal. So we're gonna see no jeans. If you don't have a dress below your knees, we'll probably turn you around.
That lets me out.
But not only that, these girls can work for scholarship.
All right.
They can solicit ads And this is ad page here, and this whole page is $100. And we divide it up into sections, and they have their names and whoever donated it. When they graduate, now they have to graduate and they have to go to school. They don't. Every penny that they get is given to them
for
in
school.
the form of a scholarship.
Wonderful.
And we have given up. The highest we've ever given was $5,000.
Wow.
The last amount we gave was $3,000, and they can raise as much as they want.
Much as they'll work for.
And they have no problem, because once they know that this is for scholarship,
Right.
they're going to get it back. They have no problem doing it. So that's what these are. These are all ads that the different ones got, and it is presented to them when they not when they graduate.
When they are in school.
They have to give us documentation that they are in school. And
Yes.
it's not where they enrolled.
It's where they
have to
are
actually be attending.
Got it. That's Safeguard.
And so this activity is coming off on March the 19th. It's at Young's Chapel,
Okay.
and we'll be starting at 6
That's good.
o'clock, and the public is invited.
If they wear a long dress.
Well, we probably won't turn anybody around because they don't have one on, but
You can put a section for us,
hopefully this year we can get the
the community to
Mr.
support
Whitson, who's going to video it, to sort of get in these parents with their long,
Right.
wheel around and get them in so they can see how we look when we dress up.
That's
I
right.
don't know when the last time was when I wore a long, well, it's been 3 years because we haven't had one in 3 years. But it's interesting to see them dress
Yes,
up
it
for
is.
a change. I said if the girls can wear the long white formals and the boys wear the tuxedos with the tail, then we need to look the part too.
Right,
We need to
right.
look good.
And I came along, as you did too, when we were in college especially. You dressed. You didn't just put on a pair of jeans and a shirt and go to class. And if there was any kind of a social function, you dressed. You had hose and dresses, and most of the time they were long. And depending if you were a sorority or not, it had to be a certain color. So, I mean, all those things were part of what we went through.
Yeah, now we pull a few tricks at Savannah State on Sunday morning. We had to be dressed. And what we do, we roll up our pajamas and put on
Put 'em in-
long coats, because you could not get into the dining hall unless you looked decent.
That's right.
And that's what we did. But it's different, and a lot of children don't know because they never had the experience. They don't have activities anymore. And if they have any, they let them come whatever they want. Even the proms have gone a little.
Yeah, they're kind of scary to me. But I can remember my first quarter at South Georgia College, I had a friend that was in the dorm, and she had a London Fog raincoat. And we couldn't wear shorts on campus, but she wore that London Fog raincoat everywhere she went because she had shorts underneath it. But even at Georgia Southern, and if you were in education, you had to go dressed to the education building as if you were professional teachers. We need to do a program on that for some of our newer teachers sometimes, I think. It's also lax.
Yeah, I remember one time, well, when I started teaching, the requirement, you had to look almost like you were going to church.
Exactly.
But you can't look like you're going to church now because you go to church in
Live-
But we had to have heels, we
Yes.
had to have hose, they don't wear those anymore. And you had to, you could tell a teacher from a student, and when we became seniors, we had to tell, that our teacher told us, you've got to distinguish yourself from the other students.
Right.
So when you walked on campus, you could recognize a teacher and a
And
senior,
senior.
because you didn't look like everybody else. And that motivated the others to want to be a senior.
And even before I retired, I saw this student or person walking down the hall, and I said, "You need to turn around and get a pass." And turn around, and it was a teacher. And I thought, "Oh my Lord, it's time to go. It's time to go."
The thing about the education system now, you can go into Belts, you can go into J.C. Penney's, you can go in the bank, you can go in any business, and everybody who works in there, they look professional.
Exactly.
But go to the
School system, and they
and
don't.
you can't tell the student from the teacher. But when we were coming up, it was totally different.
Totally different. Totally different. That's,
You know what? You got more respect from the students too.
yes, you did, and from the parents even. I think so. See, we just solve all kind of problems here on Our Heritage. We just love it. Anything else you'd like to tell us about the cotillion or the Men of Distinction?
Well, it is still time to, if anyone has any small children, Matter of fact, we take them from pre-K if they can walk down that aisle
Yes.
up until middle school. If they are interested in participating, it is still time to get an application. They can pick up that application from me at the Mary Hay Center,
Okay.
and we would love to have them.
Oh, that'd be great.
And we're inviting everybody to come out and support them, and one good thing about it, we will have refreshments afterwards.
All right. Feed them and they will come.
Exactly.
Gwen, it was so great to talk to you, and I can't wait to get you back. And for those of you who do not know, Ms. Relaford is one of our women leaders in Coffee County that we're focusing on in the museum for the next few weeks.
Next few weeks.
Yes. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have my guest, Mary Clyde Scott, who I will not let turn me down. And she's here today because our exhibit is Women Leaders in Coffee County. And she's known some women in Coffee County that were unique.
Yes.
Tell us about some of them.
Well, I think the first one I'd like to tell you about is Mrs. Meta Heath. Mrs. Heath was the editor for the society page for the Douglas Enterprise. Now, the society page had a big title at the top which said society page, and Mrs. Heath spent all week getting the information for that page. Now, Mrs. Heath was very curious, and she loved to find out about other people's lives, so she was really equally to the task. So she would always call and on the telephone, and if she met you on the street, she always had on this little hat with the little flowers up on top, and she carried a big pocketbook over her arm. And when she met you, she'd open that pocketbook and take out her little notebook with the pencil. Say, have you been anywhere this week? Well, have you had any company this week? Well, did you go to any parties? Or did you have a party? And then she would write everything that you told her. She wanted to know what you served and who all was there, and she'd write down all those names. And one day, I saw Mrs. Heath coming, and I had my little daughter, who was about 1.5 years old, Gail, and she was a very rambunctious child. She had beautiful little curls that just dangled all over her head, but she didn't like you to touch her hair. And I knew what was going to happen. Miss Heath was going to touch those curls, and she's going to bang Miss Heath in the head. I knew she was going to happen. So I'm trying to get away, but she's so busy talking to me and asking me where I'd been and did I have any company that week and so on. And so she reached over to Gail and said, "Oh, what beautiful curls," and pulled one down, and when she did, Gail walloped her on the top of the head.
I love it. I love it.
Came down about like this, and I left real fast.
I can't wait till I see Gail talk about this now. That's going to be neat.
And one of my other favorite stories happened in the church. She was a member of the First Methodist Church, and she taught a Sunday school class. Well, when the Sunday school class was over, like most of the women, she always went to the bathroom and then came back into the church and walked from the back of the sanctuary down, speaking to everybody on both sides of the aisle, carrying her little pocketbook. Well, on this particular Sunday, she had forgotten that she had picked up the roll of toilet paper. So she's coming down the aisle, carrying her pocketbook on one arm and the roll of toilet paper, standing up. And as she comes down the aisle, everybody's snickering. And it dawns on her, she sits near the front. So it finally dawns on her what she's done, and she was opening that pocketbook and cramming in that toilet paper so fast.
I love it.
So that was Ms. Heath. Now, another lady who was quite outstanding was Mrs. Gussie Evans Stapleton. I believe that she was the sister to Mr. Bunny Evans' father. She was his sister. Anyway, Mrs. Stapleton ran the Stapleton Home, which was a boarding house